Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm here with head football coach Tom Perkovich. Now, Coach, 2 weeks ago, you went back to Muhlenberg, your old stomping grounds, for the first time since becoming the head coach here at Susquehanna. What kind of emotions were going through your head pregame, the trip to Muhlenberg, and finally walking out on that field?
Well, I think, just it was a little bit of nerves, going back where things kind of started for me. It was a little bit weird warming up on the other side of the field, if you're spending all that time there doing it that way. But once the game got started, it was a game. We were there to get a W and give our best effort. But there were some jitters and some worry. They knew what I'm going to do. I knew what they were going to do. So it was a little bit of the cat and mouse game and how that was going to play out. Kind of, playing that in my head and stuff like that was kind of what the bus ride was for. And unfortunately, we didn't get it done. We were very close, but we got to do things a little bit better and finish.
It was another back and forth kind of affair. You guys struggled a bit on third down, 7 for 17. How important are those third down successes to kind of keep drives alive and put pressure on the other teams as you go into the second half?
Hey, you have to do well on third down, and I thought there were some questionable calls for us. I thought there were some third downs that we should have had, bad spot, which the officials told me about after the game that they thought it was a bad spot. But you can't give them any leeway there. So we've got to do a better job on that down of executing. We've got to keep ourselves in manageable third downs. We had too many third and longs, and your percentage on third and long is going to decrease significantly compared to manageable downs. The third down at the end where we threw the pick was the one that we really wish we had back. It was a 3rd and 5. We had the guy open. It was a bad throw, and but we can't put ourselves in that situation. I think, as you look at it, could we have done things differently? Yeah, but I thought we competed better. I thought our physicality, our competitiveness, those two things were a lot different than the week before against Gettysburg. And that's what I challenged the kids to kind of come out and play with that fire and play with that edge. And we did that. And if we can keep that going, you'll have a good second half of the season.
Now, this past week was the mid-season bye week for everyone in the conference. Yep. What kind of aspects were you looking for in practice last week and now going into this week, going into the second half of the season, that you kind of wanted to work on, fine-tune a little bit, because you do have a very winnable stretch in your last 5 games. You had a tough start to the season. Now you're sitting here 2-3, and you got some winnable games. What are the things that you want to fine-tune to make sure you pull out those wins?
Well, because of injury, we have a lot of young players in some positions for us. So we went back to the fundamentals last week. A lot of the little things that we maybe have gotten away from when you're trying to get ready for a team and talk about scheme and making sure people know what they're supposed to do schematically. We kind of went back to the basics of blocking, tackling, and turnovers and just the little things that we needed to get done. And as we did still do some scout for Moravian, but as we went forward into this week, now we're into a full scout week and focusing on the game plan and what we have to do to be successful against a good football team.
Now, like you said, a good football team. Coming in 4-1 this week is Moravian. Coming home, I know you weren't here last year. It was a very high intensity game at Moravian. Expect the same this week. You forced 3 turnovers last time against Muhlenberg. How important are those turnovers, winning the turnover battle in general, going to be to stopping their offense, which is averaging close to 400 yards a game?
Yeah, we haven't done a good job all year. You look at our turnover margin, and we're last in the league. We've got to get that changed as we go to the second half of the year. We've got to turn the ball over less and take it away more. I think that that's a category I always look at. That's something I'm always looking at is that's the tail of the game.
Yeah.
That and starting field position. I think those two things kind of can really dictate the game and change the game. If you've got to go 70 or 80 yards every drive compared to your opponent who has got to go 50 or 60, that's going to change the whole landscape of the game. We've got to make sure that we do a great job in special teams and protect the ball better than we have. Make smart decisions. Don't make a bad play worse. There's always going to be bad plays, and you just got to be smart with what you do. So that's something we've worked on also in the past week. But I'm hoping that we can turn the corner on that part of it.
Now, last week you kind of had trouble getting stuff going on the ground. Under 100 yards total rushing for the game. How key is it going to be to kind of get that ground game going again? You took the week off. You kind of assessed some things. Now you're ready to go back at it to open up to the air game, because Krushko, he's done a good job for the most part this year in the pass game. How important is that run game to be opening up the field and spreading the defense out.
Yeah, you got to be able to do that, or you're one-dimensional, and that's always a problem. I think that it makes it easier on the opponent. You know, Muhlenberg statistically, defensively, over a long time has been very, very good. You know, for us to do what we did is I thought was a pretty good day. You know, if we don't have maybe some bad calls or the turnovers, I think we have a pretty big day against a really good defense statistically and historically. But we have to make sure that we do a good job against Moravian of taking care of the business that we need to. We got to run the football to establish that, to open up our speed on the outside, make them have to come down and play the run with their safeties. I think if we do that, then we'll be better. And you know, we were down. Cam Ott didn't play in the last game because of injury. He'll be back. That's a bye week help. And you know, so we're excited to have him back. And Kyle did a nice job in his role. And you know, he stepped up in a big way for us and helped us out. So, but you know, those two guys will they'll tote the rock. And Nick's going to have to continue to be a part of the run game for us and some other guys.
Now, last year in the game against Moravian, special teams were huge. How important are they going to be for field position, especially against a team that has a good offense, like most of the Centennial Conference does, to kind of forcing them into having to go the length of the field?
Yeah, special teams is a third of the game. We learned that, I thought, in the Gettysburg game. We really, you know, we didn't do a good job in that game, and I thought we took a big step forward. I thought we won the kick game against Muhlenberg. We executed another fake punt, which is our third of the year, successfully. You know, we had better effort on that team. You know, we had a lot of good coverage in our units. We punted the ball decent. So our guys stepping up, our punter, especially Dylan Jenkins, is going to have to do a great job when his number gets called. Hopefully it's not too many times. But, you know, we're hoping he does a great job. And our kickoff unit has to do a really good job. They've got a couple explosive returners that we have to limit as we go forward to try to make them have to go 80 yards.
Coach, I appreciate your time like always, and good luck this week against Moravian.
Thanks, Bobby.